Welcome to Essence Festival of Culture 2026, the book festival. Happy to have you all here. Also, I'll be.
I don't think your mic is on. You see how loud I am? Can y'all hear her? They said no.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on 1 second. Can we have another microphone out here? Hey, take mine for now. I'm so sorry. I'm Arian Simone. I'm the author of this amazing book that is coming out called Fearless Freedom. I serve as the founder of the Fearless Fund. I'm pretty sure she was about to do an intro, but since I started talking, I wanted to be polite. Hold on 1 second.
Thank you, Arian. So, yes, I was. Thank you, sir. I wanted you to introduce yourself, so thank you for that. Now, is it okay?
Yeah, we're on.
Will you please let us know what you do exactly in your role as CEO and founder of the Fearless Fund?
Great. I run the nation's first venture capital fund that is built by women of color for women of color. And thank you for those hand claps. I appreciate it. And what that means is we exchange cash for equity if you have a business and you're a woman of color that's a co-founder. So say, sister, what's your name? Kimberly? Kimberly! Okay. So say you come to pitch to the Fearless Fund and you're like, oh, can you give me $500,000 for my business? And I'm like, yes, in exchange for 10% ownership. It looks just like Shark Tank. We do cash for ownership of your business.
Okay, thank you. Kimberly, you ready? You ready to pitch? Okay. So, Arian, I know that you are a graduate of FAMU. Any HBCU graduates in the house?
Uh-oh, Rattlers.
Okay.
I see the strikes back there.
We love our HBCUs. You have 2 degrees from
Correct.
FAMU, your bachelor's and your MBA. What informed your decision to choose FAMU, and what did you learn at FAMU that prepared you for the work you do with the Fearless Fund?
Well, my parents encouraged me to go to an HBCU. They are both graduates of PWIs, and they knew that the experience and the network would be so enriching that it would set me up well for the future. Now, talking about being set up well for the future, Florida A&M University is even an investor in the Fearless Fund.
I
So
love
that right there,
that.
she said, I love that.
Yes.
That right there just proves to you the impact of and the benefit of attending an HBCU. That the people that I was in class with as my teachers, they didn't just follow me through, my trajectory there at FAMU. They're following my trajectory of life, and they are still cheering for me, they are still supporting me, and they're still investing in me literally and figuratively.
Love that, and love the vision that your parents had way back when. Okay, so how do you show up continuously in these boardrooms, maybe on the golf course sometimes, with people who don't look like us, who don't have the backgrounds that we do, and still be your authentic self, show up with these beautiful yellow dresses? Don't we look great in yellow? I think God created yellow for black women. I do. But seriously, how do you continuously show up in these spaces where we're so underrepresented? I mean, venture capitalism is just not, there's just not a lot of us doing it, y'all. And so, yes, tell us about how you maintain who you are.
That is correct. I work in a $62 trillion industry of private equity and venture capital. And in that industry, it is 92% white men. So those stats exist, but when you ask how I continue to show up authentically, I don't even think twice about it, to be truthful with you. I am who I am. I've been confident in who I am since childhood. And I talk about a lot of those stories even in the book. There was a moment in, I guess you would say this is before elementary school, pre-K. I was 3 years old. And my father talks about how all of the kids had to draw themselves. And I was in a predominantly white school with 30% minority, and I was the only black kid that drew themselves with a brown crayon. So I've always been just confident in who I am and not compromising on that. So as far as showing up authentically, I mean, I don't code switch. I am who I am. I don't pretend and I don't conform. So I can't say that being in those situations have ever persuaded me to be anything that I'm not. And if you don't show up as who you are, I mean, how can somebody even get to know who you are? Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're particularly today talking about not waiting and going after what we want. Just the constantly feeling like I'm not ready. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. So for those of us who, maybe we have a business idea and we just don't know when we're going to be ready, what would you say to that woman or that man that's just continuously waiting and not acting?
I heard a wise woman once say that procrastination is your arrogant way of thinking that you are in control of time. I'll repeat it again. Procrastination is your arrogant way of thinking that you are in control of time. There are moments that will occur in our lives, and it's up to us to seize that moment. We would be arrogant to think that, oh, well, that moment will come again. Oh, well, I can see that person later. You may not see that person later, and that moment may not come again. I mean, it may, but that would be a risk that you're taking. So when it comes to your dreams, why would you wait?
Right. Okay, so your career trajectory is not common.
No.
No, right. And I'd love for you to expand on that as well. But what do you want us to learn from your career trajectory and your life's path, regardless of what we do? We may not, we're not all going to become venture capitalists, but what could we learn from the steps that you took to create the lives that we want and the career that we want?
Well, there is a benefit when you just live on purpose. And I remember one time I heard Bishop Jake said that in the event that you're not living on purpose, anything outside of that is called wasting time. So I would just encourage anybody to be obedient to what their calling is, to why they were created, to what it is that they are supposed to do here in this earth. We see enough problems day to day in this world, but it is a result of people not taking up their place and space in society.
And then also, you do a lot of work outside of the United States. Tell everyone where you're from also.
Oh, I'm born and raised Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? I see you in the back with the D hat. Yes, born and raised Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit. And your family is from, I don't want to mispronounce.
From where?
Ivory Coast.
Oh!
Okay.
You say that? Yes. That's a story in itself, but you would have to get the book to hear that story. Yes, I'm Ivorian, Ghanaian, and Grenadian, and American. But yes, you would have to get the book to fully.
Well, you have to get the book. But talk to us about the work you do on the continent, in other parts of the African diaspora, and why that's important as well.
The work I actually do on the continent is very similar to the work that I do in the United States. As it pertains to the disparities as far as Black women receiving access to venture capital funds, access to any form of funding, these are not domestic issues that are particular to the U.S. These are actually global disparities that exist worldwide. So the work that we do at the Fearless Fund in the U.S. is very similar to the work that we do at Fearless Fund Africa, where we deploy capital to women of color entrepreneurs as it pertains to venture capital, as it pertains to lending, as it pertains to grants. So that's the work we actually just happen to do globally.
Okay. And then a lot of us have business ideas. We may work for the post office. We may be a teacher. We may be work for the federal government, right? But we have a seed of a germ of an idea, and we just don't think that we're able to get the funding, traditionally by going to a bank and getting a loan. What would you say, especially in the rooms that you sit in, right? What would you say to those people who are thinking that money just doesn't exist for us as Black women? Because I would imagine that's not true, even though that's what we've been programmed to believe.
What you're saying is a lot of the thought process that a lot of black females do go through. And I would say women in general, just to give a stat, women as a whole, regardless of race, only receive 2% of venture capital funds. So you're talking about every single race of women, white women, black women, brown women, yellow women, all of it combined are under, so 98% are going to men. That in itself.
We have to change that, right?
We definitely have to change it. I think
Yes.
that the more that we become the investors, then the investments get diversified. So I will definitely encourage people to be check cutters. And you're like, okay, well, what if I don't have no check to cut or if I don't have enough money? You may have $5. Y'all got to Essence Fest.
Come on.
Yes, somebody, you had to pay your way to get here. You got to Essence Fest. You got $5, $10. Hey, here's $100. Pay me back 110. Here's $200. Pay me back 250. So I was what we call angel investing before I knew what angel investing was. I always wanted to be the business investor that I'd ever always wished for, right? Since FAMU days. So when my friends just started having businesses, it could be as small as $1,000, and I say, hey, you need to give me back $1,200, and you can give it back to me in a year, but this is what this looks like. So even if it's on that level, we have to learn as a community how to fund ourselves. It doesn't have to be as formal as venture capital or as formal as going to get a regular traditional loan from a bank. There are enough resources amongst ourselves, especially with us being such large consumers, in the trillions. Everybody even saw the most recent report that came out. It went viral. There's enough cash amongst ourselves. Even if it's you got to send somebody $50, you can do it.
I love that. Thank you for that. And who's more resourceful than a black woman? Okay, seriously. So let's think about that.
I can even give stats like behind that. So we as an organization right now between our Fund 1 and our Fund 2, we are looking at probably about 20% of our portfolio companies we invested in returning the fund. The average in venture capital is around 10%. People are always asking like, well, how? I'm like, hey, we bet on black and brown women. That's how. So our cash burn rates are much lower. We are very conscious of how we budget and spend. We're going to stretch $1 further than the white men that are just blowing the cash. We know how to turn a nickel into $1 because it's what our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers have been doing for centuries. We have had to have a job outside of the jobs. We've had to have a side hustle in addition to the side hustle. I see you clocking me, mother. I see you, yes. But it is the truth. So that, when it shows up in the form of venture capital, people can see on paper, wait, how did this lady stretch this out? One time we had a company, they said they were going under. They came back and they made $5 million. They said, we thought you wrote off the company. I said, we actually don't write them off too much later because we know they have the ability 3 months later to be like, hey, I figured it out. I made it work. So it's a good bet. It's just good business.
Right. Love that. Aren't these great gems? So to get more great gems from Arian, I want you to tell us if there are 2 things that are in this book that we all need to know that you can, give us like nuggets today. What would that be?
Oh, 2 things. One, I say that the issues that we face in society are not just particular to the U.S., that they are definitely global, and you'll learn more about that through the book. And in that, the second thing will be is about how we solve that. And like I was saying, whether it's the $5 or the $50 or however, but we need to solve these global disparities or else, how should I put this nice? We'll be in a situation if we don't. Yeah, we definitely need to solve these global disparities. But the book gives just guides on how to build and establish fair funding.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we have a great treat for everyone here. If you're quick enough, to my left, Arian will be signing. So the book doesn't come out until October.
October 6th, y'all, but we got about 48 copies here today, and I'm going to sign
It's
them.
July. You all are getting a sneak peek, and you have an opportunity to get an advance copy signed here at Essence Fest 2020. Aren't you glad you came? Yes, yes. So yes, right to my left, she'll be, when the space opens up, she'll be signing copies of the books for the first 48 people. All righty?
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Bridget.
Thank you. This is a
Yes.
pleasure. Thank you all for being here.